A hangar opens its doors at the Fliegerhorst Schleswig Air Base in the extreme north of Germany. It's home to Reconnaissance Squadron 51 of the Air Force. In the latter part of the 20th century, the German armed forces were occupied primarily with humanitarian tasks. These days, they are directly involved in military conflicts.
Being more geared to deployment means having to regroup accordingly. Of course, the media talk about a more effective army, but the army is now being reduced.
A smaller army with greater emphasis on specialists, flexible and ready for action anywhere in the world. It's something the soldiers themselves need to get used to. The Bundeswehr used to be mostly a rescue and relief unit and a large-scale employer.
The Bundeswehr is not here to populate military bases. It needs those bases to carry out its mission.
50 kilometers away from the airbase, just across the water from Denmark, is the Glücksburg facility. The old naval base is about to be consigned to history. There are no more fears of a threat from the east. The Baltic coast no longer needs to be defended. The Cold War ended long ago. New challenges require a new type of soldier, one trained for combat in smaller units, one who is able to be transported rapidly from one theater of operations to another. In the future, Germany will have 10,000 troops on permanent call for immediate deployment abroad. They will be supported by images from reconnaissance planes like those based in Schleswig. This is what the government has decided. Air Force Commander Hans-Jürgen Knittlmaier now has the job of putting the changes into practice.
When you talk about 10,000 soldiers in action, you have to remember that you'll also have that number preparing for duty and just as many recovering from duty. That makes a big difference. An additional factor, of course, is that the entire logistical setup has to work.
The defense minister claims that there are two objectives behind his reforms: to save money and, at the same time, increase the operational strength of the armed forces. Many observers are skeptical about being able to do both.
For all the numbers being thrown around, it's important to remember that these are theoretical figures. What decides whether these 10,000 soldiers go into action at all is, for one, whether they also have the doctors and other essential specialist personnel. And then there has to be the political will to actually dispatch these troops.
The minister certainly has that will. He's determined to boost the Bundeswehr's fighting strength by reinforcing and updating certain elements. Here at the Fliegerhorst Schleswig Air Base, the Tornadoes and their pilots will soon be getting some company in the shape of Eurohawks, unmanned aerial vehicles, or drones. They're packed full of sensors for monitoring enemy signals from the air. It's the dawn of a new era for the German Air Force. And it's a development welcomed by NATO's Secretary General. He wants to see changes in how tasks are divided up among the organization's partners.
The answer is what I call smart defense, a smarter way of spending defense money. And the smarter way of spending money is through multinational cooperation, instead of pursuing purely national solutions.
The hunt for pirates off the Horn of Africa has illustrated the importance of joint missions. Many countries have an interest in protecting those trade routes after all. An example for the future?
20 years from now, I see the German army as one that feeds smaller national sections into a bigger overall enterprise. Together with its partners, it will realize that it's no longer able or willing to conduct an operation on its own. The financial capacity won't be there either.
Germany is making its armed forces leaner and meaner. That, at least, is the intention of Defense Minister Thomas de Maizière.